Hi guys, and welcome to another video in the No Hands SEO tutorial series. In this video I'll be going through what settings I personally use on my VPS to get really good backlinks, which I found will really help bolster and improve my search engine rankings and increase the traffic to my websites. Okay, now this isn't going to be an in-depth video about what each setting does. There is another video for that. It's really quite long, but if you're wanting to know the intricacies of each different setting, I advise you go and look at that now. But in this video I'll just be showing you what settings I personally use that I've found over the last 2 years of using this tool, what really works and what will get me some really good backlinks. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the app settings here. Now I'll leave nearly all of it as default apart from the ping confirmed links option here. Now I disable that because I don't want No Hands SEO to spend time that it could be using on searching and posting to different websites. I don't want it spent pinging the links that it's made. Now it doesn't mean that my links won't get pinged, and it doesn't mean that they won't get noticed. It just means that I'll be using a separate tool to do that. Okay, I'll be using No Hands Pinger to ping all of my links, and it's a free tool that you can get from nohandspinger.com. All you need to do is go in there and put in your email address, and you'll instantly get sent a download link. So if you go over to nohandspinger.com, you can get that for free. So we'll uncheck that, and then we'll go to the More tab. Now the posting threads and the searching threads, it really depends on what proxy settings you are using at the time. Okay, I use 60 mainly because it's a relatively low number and it can be used on most internet connections, or most broadband internet connections. And the allowed searching threads, 5 threads, should be fine for around 15 to 30 proxies, which is what I'll be using in this test. Okay, and I'll leave I'll set the max words per search keyword as 3, because I don't want exceptionally long search keywords because they tend to return very few results. Right, I'll leave the connection timeout, the read-write timeout, and the delay between searches, I'll leave them as default. And in the miscellaneous settings, I'll just enable use gzip compression, because that will generally speed up the searching and posting and lots of the different things that No Hands SEO does. There's very little downside to doing that, so I'd advise checking that. In the prevent posting settings, I'll set the maximum outbound links to 250. Now this will prevent posting to sites that are heavily spammed. Now often you'll find that if a website has an auto approved comments page or something like that, then often it will be found and added to a public AA list or an auto approved list, and then people will download it and just spam it to hell. So there's no SEO benefit that you're going to get from a page with 1,000 or more backlinks. So to prevent that from happening, I'll set that at maximum 250 links outbound links per page, and it basically ensures that the links I'm getting are at least decent or very good. Now I don't bother with a minimum page rank. I just don't, because who's to say that a web page or a website with 0 page rank today is not necessarily going to be 0 page rank tomorrow. So I don't find that really helps anything by setting a limit there. Now as far as capture solvers go, this really is an option. You're not going to double or triple the amount of links that you get. Your link quality is not going to be exceptionally higher by using a capture solver, but it will help to get a few extra links. It will help to get a little bit of extra quality in your links, because you'll be able to target websites that have a capture on their comment form or submission form. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with using a tool like Capture Sniper or GSA's Capture Breaker. You can use that. If you're doing so, I wouldn't advise setting a minimum page rank or a maximum outbound link, because you're not paying per capture solved, so you may as well just let that post to any of them. If for instance you were to use one of the pay per capture solvers, such as Death by Capture Image Typers, Shiny BPO, and so on, you may want to set a minimum page rank or a maximum outbound link that's lower than your current maximum outbound link. But really, I find generally Capture Sniper or other tools which are able to be used like Capture Sniper are nearly as effective anyway, and you only have to pay for them once, so you don't need to worry about a monthly cost. Okay, so moving on, and go to the profile settings. Now, what these do is relatively complicated, so I'm not going to go into details now, but I generally will use around 11% for generic, 7% for domain, 12% for capitalization, and 4% for names. It essentially means that 40% or so, I mean, I've not counted it up, but 40% or so of my posts will have some sort of extra randomization, which means that it's going to take up the slack from my anchor text. If I've only put in, say, 10 anchor texts, it's going to really vary those few anchor texts that I've used for each profile. So Google really seems to be enjoying websites with really varied backlink profiles at the minute, so it's really advised to set them. Doesn't have to be exactly those numbers, but somewhere around there should be good to go. Okay, for indexing, I mentioned earlier that I'm using No Hands Pinger for doing the pinging. It takes very little setup, it's free, go download it from nohandspinger.com, and all you need to do to integrate it is to check the send confirm links to No Hands Pinger option. With No Hands Indexer, it's a single payment. It's similar to the other indexers in that it will go that little bit further than just simply pinging your links. Okay, so you'll end up generating anywhere from 400 to about 800 links, most of them being do follow, to your linking pages. Now what that does is it gives those pages that are linking to your websites that little bit of extra ranking boost, which means that they should be able to pass on that bit more ranking effectiveness to your pages. So as I say, it's $20. It's a one-time payment. It's much cheaper than the others, which are verging on $20 each. I forget exactly, but if you're interested, you can click on What is Backlinks Indexer, Linklicious, Indexification, or Lindex to get more information about what they are and how much they cost and where you can get them from if you'd rather go down a hosted solution like one of those. But if you're happy to just run another tool on your system and you want something that's a little bit cheaper, you can go for No Hands Indexer. You can get that from nohandsindexer.com. And all you need to do to set that up is just tick the box there. Okay, now these are largely optional, but they can help to get your links indexed as well as give them a little bit of extra ranking benefit to go along with that. Okay, as far as platforms go, again, it depends on what you want. If you want just do follow links, you can simply right click and you get this pop-up menu here, which lets you select all, do follow, no, which will select all of the different sites which don't give you do follow links, and then you can just uncheck it. And then if you save the settings, you'll see down here it will change the number of platforms to, any second out, there we go, 31. Now what that means is that you are only going to get backlinks from platforms where there is at least a good chance of getting a do follow link. Now with that setting, you'll get somewhere in the region of 60 to 80% do follow links, which is definitely in the high range. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but personally I prefer to get as many links as possible, so I'd be more inclined to have all of them checked, or if I was to disable any, it'd be some of the guestbook platforms where they use pages, and that's purely because the platforms where they use pages for your links, it just makes it harder to track those links as time goes on. Nothing wrong with that, the links will still be there, you'll still be getting good links from them, it's just that they're not easier to keep track of. Okay, so ultimately I'd suggest leaving all of them active, or if you're really going for quality, just remove all of them where they're not do follow links. Okay, now add and block lists I'll leave as they are, there's nothing wrong with them. If you're really wanting to get specific links, or perhaps you're using No Hands SEO to get links to clients' websites, you might want to limit by bad words, in which case you could put in, all your different adult related or pharmacy related, gambling related keywords in that list. That will really lower the amount of links you get, and I haven't really found much of a difference in the ranking benefit from sites that don't have bad words compared to ones that do have bad words. I just haven't noticed any sort of difference. I've certainly not seen any sort of penalty from having a link from a website that has, rude words or anything like that. So personally, I'd leave that blank, leave it all as default. I wouldn't bother changing that. Spinners, again, it's a totally optional thing. It will help you to write your custom comments if that's the way you're going, but really you can do that totally manually if you wanted. You don't need the spinners. They're not going to get you any extra links. It just helps when you're setting up your profiles. Okay, so I will be doing a video where later on down the line which will show you how to use the different spinners more effectively, but for now I'll leave them as is. Now proxies, this is one of the more important things. If for instance you're wanting to use more than just one or two searching threads, you will need to be using proxies. Personally, I won't use the built-in proxy harvester because the proxies, they're just not as reliable as ones that you pay for monthly, and they're not even as reliable as ones that are pulled from a tool such as Proxy Goblin or Proxy Multiply. Okay, now the best option would always be to have private proxies that you're paying for that nobody else is using. And the reason for that is that they're not going to get limited by the search engines nearly as often. They're not going to be listed in any sort of spam list or anything like that, which you might get with public proxies. Now, tools like Proxy Goblin and Proxy Multiply can be used to get lots of proxies, but you do need to set them up correctly. There is a guide in the support forum which goes through all of that, but this video is just me showing how I use it. So here it is. For proxies, I won't load them in through a file. I'll simply paste them in, and I'll use the private proxies because that's what I'm using them for, and I'll use these proxies for searching, posting, not pinging, not link checking, and for PR checking. The reason I'll only use it for searching, posting and PR checking is that Google will only and Yahoo will only allow so many searches per IP address, so you'll get limited if you're not using it for searching, which means that you won't be getting any targets, which means you won't be getting any links. I use proxies for posting mainly because it does generally help to get more links accepted, and also you're not having your own personal IP address listed on any comment list such as Akismet. It just means that you're going to get a slightly higher amount of comments and links in the long run. Okay, there's no need to have it checked for link checking, because all that will do is you'll be visiting the website, you'll be more or less anonymous. It'll only be doing that one visit to the website just to check that the link's there, so there's no need to hide your IP address in that respect. And I uncheck for pinging simply because No Hands SEO isn't going to be doing the pinging. I'll have No Hands Pinger doing that for me, and I'll enable the proxies for PR checking purely because, again, Google will only allow so many page rank requests per IP address in a certain given time. Now, I know I don't have that set up in this instance, but for example, if I was to be using a different capture solver other than Capture Sniper, or if I was a user that was limiting by a minimum of page rank, then I'd need to check that there. So that is all of the settings that I would use for myself. That's how I use it in my VPS. I will be using more proxies than the 15 that are listed here, but that should be enough to show you exactly what I use to get No Hands SEO set up, and within 15 minutes you can have your own version of No Hands SEO set up, and then you can start adding your profiles, and then from that moment on all you need to do is load No Hands SEO and press start, and it will just run for you 24 hours a day, or for however long you want it to get as many links as you want to your website. Okay, I hope that's been helpful to some people, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.